Hey, scrappy people. Tracy Reed here today, coming at you with a life crafted page using the Cocoa Daisy Lillian's Garden collection. Today I'm going to be scrapbooking these silly photos of myself and my husband that he took in our kitchen. Just a random set of photos, but I thought I would put them in this pocket because, it's just so close, because they're repetitive, and as much as I love all of them, I printed them in a film strip so they would fit in this pocket, and because they don't all need to be seen to get the point, right? So I'm gonna put them in this pocket because I think it's super fun, and I want to back it with this tag too. But beyond that, in this journaling card, that is basically all I have thought ahead on. So let's get started. All right, sometimes I like to get complicated, and sometimes I like to go simple. And this definitely came out more simple than the other layouts that I did with this collection. It's just the way I roll sometimes, but it does, I love it, it's cute, and it gets the sentiment across. So I decided to go with a sort of vertical alignment for this page because obviously I have a long photo strip, and I immediately decided that I didn't love the way that the acetate, not acetate, but whatever this is, the clear pocket interacted with the photo. And I think that's why Cocoa Daisy does these clear pockets every now and then. I think that's why I always hesitate to use them, is because I feel like if I don't put something white behind them or something nice and light behind them, it doesn't interact in a way that makes me visually happy. It kind of looks cluttered down there. So I think about it for a while, and I end up tying this bow and then deciding that yes, I definitely needed something in between the photo and the pocket. So what I end up doing, geez, after I get this bow tied, goodness gracious, what I end up doing is just cutting down a piece of this cardstock, or a patterned cardstock, maybe even one of the patterned cards that was sort of simple in design, and just sandwiching it between my photo and the pocket. So you can see I'm kind of going, let's do this one. Yeah, it was just a patterned card. I needed to trim it down a little bit because the pocket size is not 3x4, so I just needed to trim it down slightly. It's also a little bit too tall, but I'll fix that. And I like that way better. I don't like, obviously, I wanted the visual impact of the photo strip, but I think it works just fine having to pull it out as well. The only problem now is that it's a little bit floppy because it is not the thickest photo paper, so I'm gonna have to back that with something else. So I have all of these sentiments that I pulled out, and the layout is going to be, obviously it says what I love about you, and so we've been together, we've been married for almost 19 years. We've been together for 20. So I just wanted to do a cute little layout about these pictures that he took and the things that I love about him 20 years into this relationship. I decided that I wanted to do like a double tag thing going on here. So I'm going to mat these journal bits and the journaling card on another tag. So instead of using one of the tags in the collection, I'm just going to make my own out of some of this patterned paper. And I need to trim down the 3x4 card a little bit because the tag itself is 3 inches and I didn't want it to go all the way to the edge. So I just trimmed it slightly smaller so it would fit on there better. And then I'm just going to add the sentiments to the top and the bottom, just like I had them on the page. And I like the vertical feel that everything on this page is giving, right? So we've got the vertical horizontal stripes, that makes sense. We've got the tags that are a strong vertical. We've got the film strip or the photo booth strip that's a strong vertical. So everything is just sort of leading your eyes up and down and sort of repeating that shape all over the page, and I like that kind of repetition. I like repetition in my design pretty much always, so sometimes I do it with shapes, sometimes I do it with specific elements, but this time I'm just doing it with that whole vertical vibe. So I've got the tag done now, and I think I'm not going to tilt it at all like the other one is tilted, because again with the vertical, and I think that even though the other one on the other side is tilted, we still have a really strong vertical going on because the photo booth strip and the pocket are straight up and down. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And I'm feeling like, yes, I really like the way that this looks, but it's also looking a touch boring. So what can we bring in here to make this more interesting? And part of the problem is that um, a lot of the embellishments that aren't word bits in the Lillian's Garden collection were flowers, and they're beautiful flower die cuts and rub-ons and all of that, but they were a little bit frilly for the stories that I was telling with this collection. So I really had to get creative and think outside the box, or think outside the flowers, I should say, to embellish this page. I really liked this sentiment, but I cut off the top of it because it was spring, I think, and it says you are totally my thing now, and I thought that that was cute for this page specifically. And I actually really like the way that the font at the top echoed the font on the bottom, so I thought that that was a cool way to get more repetition in there. And again, with the vertical too, because of course they're right on top of each other, and I thought that that was super fun. I backed the photo on a blue cardstock just to give it a little bit of a matte, and also to make it a little bit stiffer so that it goes in and out of that pocket a little bit better. I had a lot of white space with the tag that I chose, so I decided to add some of the watercolor rub-on there, and then also some of this messy stitching just to add a little bit more black to it as well, just because I just like this messy stitching. I've always loved messy stitching, and so it works to frame this pocket and just give a little pop of black. I used black and white photos, so I just really liked the way that that all looked together. I'm still feeling like it's a little bit blank back there. I'm not quite sure what to do yet. Like, I auditioned some die cuts and some other things. I'm just not quite sure what I want. So I'm gonna move around, and instead of like embellishing, I'm gonna add in some stamping on that card. There's a gorgeous number stamp set in the Lillian's Garden collections. I'm not sure if it's the modern memory keeping or the Traveler's Notebook, but in one of them. So I used some gray ink, and then I pulled in an alpha stamp that I have from Citrus Twist, and it's gonna say 20 years in. Making it nice and messy because I'm just gonna write over the top of it. That's where I'm gonna put my journaling, so it's just gonna be in the background, but I really like the way that that looked. Again, with that big, strong, bold font too, so we've got a lot of font work going on here. And lastly, I'm gonna add in a couple of die cuts. I used a flower and a heart, even though I didn't really want to bring in too many flowers. I thought that those were cute. And then I'm going to add in some of these enamel dots as well, just to frame everything up and give it some repetition in the bottom and top corners. And then I was going to add in some of this twine here, but I decided instead to use the ribbon on both sides, and the ribbons were too short to tie into bows, so we're just going to make them knots and then fuss with them a little bit and call it good. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I'd love to have you. If you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Tracy M. Reed. I'd love to see you over there as well. There's a link to Cocoa Daisy in the description box below, and I will see you next time. Thank you.